Let's talk about arrays. Arrays are a collection of data in many different programming languages, and arrays have two really important qualities. The first is that all of the items in the array are of the same data type. So you could have an array of integer variables, you could have an array of float variables, you could have an array of strings, you could have an array of booleans. Or, as we're going to look at soon, you can have an array of objects made from a class. So instead of having one ball in your made from your ball class, you could have a whole bunch of them without changing the class itself, just by changing the way that you initializing them as an array of ball objects as opposed to just one ball object. They're very, very handy for creating a lot of variables or a lot of objects all at once. We're going to start by just looking at different ways we can make arrays of variables before we make arrays of objects. So let's start by making an array of strings. This string data type has a capital S, don't forget. And any time I put an open, close, square bracket after a data type, whether it's a variable type or a class, if you put the open, close, square bracket, it means make an array of these objects instead of just one object. So I'm going to say string, an array of string, it's called animals. And that is going to be an array of strings that just have some animal names. This is how you'd initialize if I had int, it would be an array of integer variables. If I wrote float, it would be an array of float variables. But let's again start with string. I can initialize right in line, and if I'm initializing right in line and I'm specifically saying what the items are, when I declare, I use an open and close curly brackets and put all the datas in order between those open, close curly brackets. So let's say dog and cat and bat and mouse. Okay, so now this array called animals has 4 items, dog, cat, bat, mouse. Now, because we're computer scientists, the numbers of each of these items, this is item 0 of the array, item 1 of the array, item 2 of the array, item 3 of the array. So when we refer to them, remember we start with 0. So if I want to use these later on, let's say I'm going to put them text out one of them. So I'm going to say text, and the way I refer to one item is I could say the name of the array, animals, and then in square brackets, its place in the order. So animal 0, and I'll put it at 100, 100. If I play that, it should show us the word dog at 100, 100. Yes, there it is. Took just a minute, but there it is. If I changed it to animals 1, there it is, cat, and so on and so forth. So this saves a little bit of time. Instead of having to make 4 different variables, I have made, just in one line, quickly created all those strings. So that's the first way you could initialize. I could do the same thing if they were ints instead of these items, though. Instantly I get an error because these data types don't match the data type that I have declared. But I could say 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, need an open curly bracket there. So now if I played it, confusingly, animals 1 is now the number 2. So this is useful if you have data that's specific and you just want to be able to declare it quickly all in one line. So I'm going to stop this one, so for part 1, and I'll pick back up with part 2 of arrays in just a moment.